The Bible is not random stories. It is one unfolding drama. After Cain and Abel, we are given two paths. The line of Cain, rebellion, violence, pride. The line of Seth, worship, calling on the Lord, and walking with God. This path continues all the way to Noah, the flood, and the promise of salvation. And church, this is not just history. This is prophecy for us today. Cain's line, a world without God. Genesis 4:17 to 24. Cain built a city. His descendants invented tools, music, culture, but without God. Lamech, his descendant, boasted about murder and took multiple wives. The line of Cain shows us you can build a civilization without God, but you cannot build righteousness. 1 John 2:16 says, "The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life." This is the world system. 2 Timothy 3:1-5 says, "In the last days, people will be lovers of themselves, boastful, proud, violent." Look at our world today. Technology, music, cities, progress. But without God, it leads to arrogance, violence, and destruction. Cain's line is repeating itself right now. Seth's line, calling on the name of the Lord. Genesis 4:25-26. Adam and Eve had another son, Seth. From his line, people began to call on the name of the Lord. Here is the choice: the line of Cain, man building without God, or the line of Seth, calling on the Lord. Romans 10:13 says, "Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." Acts 2:21 says, "Peter declared this same promise on the day of Pentecost." You don't need to carry Cain's curse. You can choose Seth's line, call on the Lord, and you will be saved. Enoch, walking with God. Genesis 5:24. In the genealogy, one name shines. Enoch walked with God, and he was no more, because God took him. Enoch shows us it is possible to live in a corrupt world and still walk so closely with God that death cannot hold you. Hebrews 11:5 says, "By faith Enoch was taken so that he did not experience death." Jude 14-15 says, "Enoch even prophesied about the Lord's coming judgment." What if people could say of you, he walked with God, not walked with the crowd, not walked with the flesh, but walked with God until heaven opened? Noah, judgment and salvation. Genesis 6-9. The world became full of violence and corruption. God sent the flood to cleanse, but he saved Noah and his family through the ark. Lessons. The ark was the only place of safety. Christ is our ark. The flood was judgment, a picture of God's final judgment. Noah found favor because he was righteous, walking with God. Matthew 24:37-39 says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." People were eating, drinking, marrying, living without awareness until judgment came. 1 Peter 3:20-21 says, "The ark points to baptism, our salvation through Christ." Hebrews 11:7 says, "Noah built the ark by faith, condemning the world, but saving his household." Just like in Noah's day, people today are distracted, living in sin, unaware of judgment. But there's an ark ready. Jesus Christ. The door is still open, but only for a while. Spiritual meaning for us today. Cain's line equals self-reliance, pride, culture without God. Seth's line equals worship, calling on the Lord. Enoch equals intimacy with God, a prophetic witness. Noah equals faith, obedience, salvation in the ark. The flood equals judgment of sin. The ark equals Jesus Christ, the only refuge. The rainbow equals God's covenant of mercy fulfilled in Christ. 2 Peter 3:5-7 says, "The world was once destroyed by water. Next time it will be destroyed by fire. But God is patient, not wanting anyone to perish." Which line will you choose? Cain's world without God, or Seth's calling on God? Will you walk with the crowd or walk with God like Enoch? Will you enter the ark now or wait until the flood comes? Beloved, this is not just the past. It is prophecy. Cain's line is alive in today's world. Seth's line is alive in the remnant who call on the Lord. Enoch's walk is possible for every believer. Noah's ark is open now. Christ is the only refuge. Closing texts. 2 Corinthians 6:2 says, "Now is the day of salvation." Revelation 3:20 says, "Jesus stands at the door and knocks." Closing declaration. As in the days of Noah, so it is today. The flood of judgment is coming, but the ark of salvation is open. Choose your line, walk with God, and enter the ark. For Christ is the only door.